Hi everyone, welcome to another session of G TV News Scope. My name is Olatunde MD, and I will be taking you on the news ride today. So the very first news that we'll be talking about, that we're reviewing, is the one about we all know about the fallout that happened with Kwam at the airport. Now we also realize that he has actually come out to apologize unreservedly, and he's basically like, I got it wrong, hands up, that's it, really sorry, I did the wrong thing. So now we've had other people come up as well to actually join up with him to sort of appeal to the minister. So we're going to go on that one very quickly. So it says, Kwam, let's consider his legacy and lift his ban. Guess who? MC Luomo, basically. His friend is actually come out to sort of appeal um, to the Minister of Aviation, Kayamo. So, and we've not heard anything in regards to whether the minister, is going to listen to anything at all. To be quite honest, I really think they probably won't do anything. I don't think it's going to change their mind. There is so much happening, which we're still going to come to. It seems to be like we have people that basically don't just want to obey the law. From what I can see, it looks like it. Seriously, it looks as if they are just some people who are just hell bent on. I don't know. Maybe they feel that they are very special and don't want to deal with anybody. You know, so it actually says that a plea for mercy and appeal for leniency on behalf of Alaji Wasiu and Yudin Marshal K1. So I think MC Olomo basically wrote this letter to His Excellency, to the President. I, Alaji Musulu Ayinde Akinsoya, President of the National Union of Road Transport Workers of Nigeria, humbly and fervently appeal to you to exercise mercy and forgiveness towards Alaji Wasiu and Yudin Marshal K1, like a prodigal son. K1 has acknowledged his mistakes, is sincerely apologetic, and is willing to make amends. I respectfully and earnestly request that the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA), Captain Chris Najomo, and the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Barrister Festus Keyamo San, consider tampering justice with mercy by lifting the ban imposed on K1 and the pilot, Oluwati Ogoye, following the incident at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, local wings in Abuja. On behalf of K1, I extend unreserved heartfelt apologies to the CEO of ValueJet, Mr. Kunle Soname, the staff, the pilots, and the general public. We acknowledge K1's wrongdoing and deeply appreciate his 50-year contributions to Nigerian growth and promotion of Yoruba culture worldwide. I plead with the authorities to accept K1's apology, show mercy, consider his legacy and dedication to the nation. May wisdom guide your decisions, and may we not throw away the baby with the bathwater. Mercy and forgiveness will not only bring solace to Kenya, but also uphold the values of compassion and humanity. Thank you for considering this appeal. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, folks, you actually have it. And here we have K1, the prodigal son. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? My own take is this. We look, he got it wrong. But the problem is that in Nigeria, we are already in a place whereby when things happen, um, if you are a celebrity or somebody, maybe a politician and all that, it seems to be two set of rules or a different set of rules for others, one for the politicians and one for the normal people. I basically believe that, yeah, they can do something about it, but I think for now, unfortunately, because there are video evidence. And the moment we allow this to slide, honestly, I sincerely actually want him to be forgiven. But I also know that it will create a sort of situation as well where others actually think they can do same and get away with it. If you remember what happened at the airport, I know it's in a different, it is a different scenario. If you remember the issue with the Oshomole, former governor of Edo State, same thing about flights, everywhere was disrupted. Now we now have another video making the rounds about a girl. I think was it yesterday or today? I can't remember, but we'll be talking about that later on. Almost a similar scenario. So it needs to be assessed properly. The authorities need to look at it very, very carefully, and they need to make a decision that is not based on sentiment or on personal relationship. That's just one thing. Um, any other thing, if I should say, oh yeah, let him go, let him look, we'll just end up in the same story, unfortunately. I really like the guy, I like his music, but that has got nothing to do with what's on the ground. So seriously. I mean, well, if the authority, the civil aviation minister, uh, uh, Kayamo decides that okay, well, they've looked at it, barrister Festus Kayamo, if he decides that look, we can just let this slide, you know, and because what the pilot did as well was wrong. She allowed the emotion. You cannot weaponize. It doesn't matter what the passenger has done. Remember that adage: customers are always right. She shouldn't have tried to, you know, sweat past, as long as he was there. He being there does not necessarily mean that he's right. No, he's not right. He shouldn't have been there. And she should not have tried to actually take up, knowing fully well what the operating policy procedure is. She should have known better as well. So it's I don't think it's a tough decision to take. I think um, yes, let's tap out justice with mercy. You know, is it in all locations? I don't think so. Certain things have to happen, and unfortunately, there's no easy answer in this one. But quite frankly, justice must be served. That's just what it is. Nigeria is having a bad reputation right now. Not even just right now. In Ghana, they're asking Nigerians to go. In South Africa, they're asking Nigerians to go. In Kenya, they're saying Nigerians to go. This is Africa. We're not even talking of you now. So if all these things happen, shouldn't we be looking inwards and be saying, look, what is our problem? What is the issue with this our national psyche? Yes, Nigerians, we are known to be very proud. We are, we are high achievers and all that. But does that mean that we should just throw caution to the wind and just behave as if we are above the law? No, sir. No, man. There is no being above the law. The law is the law. We have to obey it in Nigeria and abroad. Not to worry about it. Could he have done what he did at Heathrow Airport? He will not even think of doing it. British police, they're cool. So there is no way on earth they are going to actually tolerate that. It's not going to happen. So, moving swiftly on, the other thing that we want to talk about next is the story of, let me give you that one. That one is a real, um, Akpororo defends Pastor Adeboye. Hmm. This one is very close to my heart because of there's this thing in Nigeria that people do that really piss me off. Number one, the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the GO, Baba Adeboye, gave instructions or made an appeal within RCCG. Then some people, he didn't say that to the general public. Then some people decided to make themselves God to try and correct him or to try and tell, let me just share this very quickly. I mean, it's just intolerable. It's It's really, really, really nasty. So let's read this quite quickly. Nigerian comedian Akpororo has fired back at critics, attacking the general overseer, that is, critics who are attacking the general overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Pastor Adeboye, over his written call for donations from church members. Church members. He didn't say member of Lagos State or Agege local government or something something Onigbongo social club. He didn't appeal to those people. He appealed to those who are members, who are bona fide members of the RCCG. That is what he said. He didn't call anybody. He didn't appeal to the Lagos State government, to the federal government, or anything. The business he has with donation. Today, RCCG won't be the only church to ask for donations. However, how much he's asking for. Every church has the right to ask for, as long as they are doing it within the confine of the church. There's nothing unethical about it. But then some very funny set of people will now, that's the thing now. And it reminds me, this incident actually reminds me of what happened with in the Bible when when Mary um, was actually anointed Jesus with the expensive perfume. For those of you that do read your Bible, so and Judas actually came along and he made a statement which is in line with all these stupid critics. What was it that Judas actually said? Said, "Oh, why are they wasting money? They could easily have just used that to sell the perfume and use it to feed the poor." You see, all these demon-like people, that is how they operate. They will come with their humanistic, with their dodgy humanistic ideology, saying, "Oh, we should love all the poor people. We should help all the poor people. We should do this. We should do that." The world is much more than poor people. If, for instance, everybody on this earth is given, say, 5 million each, I kid you not, within 6 months, some will not have a brass penny left. You can be rest assured about that. Poverty is a choice. Whether it is own people know or wherever the situation is, there's nothing about victim mentality about it. Life deals you your card. Everybody started from somewhere. Everybody, the Abiolas, name it. Everybody started from somewhere. And at the end of the day, by whatever means, as long as they didn't kill anybody, they didn't look, whatever it is, they got themselves out of poverty. Now, Jesus was actually saying that, can you imagine what this woman is actually doing was of great value, was a very spiritual preparation for Jesus at that time. And here, so you can imagine, so we have a lot of Judas. So I actually see those people complaining through that eye. They said, "Oh, the church should be helping people." The church, who told you? These are the people that believe. Look, I don't believe in excesses. Yes, there's a balance in everything in this order of life. There is a balance. If you drink too much water, you will drown. If you eat too much, what will happen? The person can die of constipation. If you don't eat, the person can die. A person can die of starvation. If you don't drink water at all, the person can die of thirst. You can see that. So there's always a balance. So when people begin to come and say, you should be helping people. Oh, see, there are a lot of blind people here. That is one of the biggest life of the pit of hell. Yes, people should be helped, but not in the way and manner in which they are suggested. Some will see some pastors driving a big car and they will be like, that pastor is a thief. He's taking his tithe and offering. You don't even know whether somebody that the man has prayed for stayed with them, advised them and everything, support them, and everything turned around and they got restored back. And the next thing, they're doing very well. And to show their appreciation to their pastor and everything, of course, they show that in several ways. In however way they have in their mind, they demonstrate it. Buy a car for your pastor, do whatever takes your fancy, whatever you put in your mind, you do exactly what you want to do. But some people will come and say, oh, maybe they are jazzing them. They'll say it's Mumu. Ah, you could have go and see. Go to Oshoji. You will see all those people with twins who are there. Their twins are suffering. Yes, their twins are suffering, but those twins also have been hired in some instances, not in all cases. But you don't know. And they just come out. That's why one of the most dangerous thing about social media is people not having a full picture. They're making judgment. It's one of the worst thing I've ever seen. So I'm really glad that this guy actually rose up, the comedian. So he said the comedian also noted that Pastor Adeboye appeal for donation was specifically directed to his sons in the ministry. According to Akpororo, if you are not one of those spiritual sons, you have no right to express any opinion on the matter. He expressed both displeasure and disappointment that some of the loudest negative voices were coming from people who claim to be Christian. Yeah, those demonic, those ones are not Christian. We should not, those fake. Because when you say Christian, you're actually mixing. Remember what Christ said about, the wheat, the wheat and the, what was it called now? You know, the weed. I call it the weed and the wheat. The weed are the ones who are fake. You see them in church and everything. There is nothing in their life that reflects Christianity. They are like the Sadducees and the the Jewish Pharisees, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These people are like that. They'll say, "No, we are the follower of Moses. Oh. You guys are the follower of this Jesus we don't know about." So he said, you have the right to express any opinion on the matter. He expressed both displeasure and disappointment that some of the loudest negative voices were coming from people claiming to be Christian, making videos and posts that cast the man of God in a bad light. Yeah, because they are looking. That's why I said they are demonic people, and I really feel sorry for them because judgments will almost. If somebody attacks a genuine man of God or woman of God, either directly or indirectly, man, there is judgment to pay. They should not be surprised. When Baba always keep quiet and doesn't say anything, it's not because he can't talk. It's because he knows that if the man doesn't pray, if Baba doesn't pray for those people, a lot of them will not wake up the following morning. And that's the truth. So addressing complaints from some attendees about sleeping arrangement during the just concluded RCCG annual convention. The committee reminded that the attendance was voluntary. Even those complaining, you see, can you imagine somebody you went to a convention to go and pray? Yes, you are not comfortable. It's not an hotel. It's where you go and seek the face of God, where God will speak to his people through the men and women of God that were there. So some people now go out and started saying that they were not giving. I'm just paraphrasing now. They didn't give them water bed. They didn't have. They were not serving them Coke and Fanta with ice plus lemon juice on the side. Even those people where they were sleeping, did they force you to go? He asked pointedly, making it clear that participation in the convention was by personal choice, not compulsion. Akpororo Bowl's defense has resonated with many Nigerians, with countless supporters applauding him for speaking up in honor of Pastor Adeboye. For them, the pastor's decades of faithful service, humility, and global impact far outweigh any criticism, and his call for support should be seen as a privilege for believers to contribute to the work of God. You don't even need to even talk about that. He doesn't owe anybody any explanation. If those that think that he owes them an explanation, this is what I will tell you. Go to the nearest Iroko tree, then, swing your head back, then you know what to do. Just hit your head on it. It's totally wrong. Anybody say, is the man a politician? He's a man of God that God has actually put there. Then some funny set of people who have no fear of God now decide to come and shoot their mouth. Baba is responsible to God. The God that called him, if he feels he has done anything wrong, which obviously he has not, there is no way, there is no way, when they don't understand any spiritual things. Anyway, so that is what we've actually got at the moment. Um, so the last but not the least. Aha. So this is, unfortunately, I have to use this word. Um, this is a Quam scenario, a K1 scenario that just happened again. I'm not even sure whether it was today, but let me add this. An incident actually happened today on Ibom Air. I think it's an airline that's owned by Akwa Ibom um, State, their airline, I think. So, what happened? Ibom Air, KMO slams leak of passenger video, order sanction. This one is quite interesting. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Kayamo, has condemned the release of indecent footage showing Comfort Emerson, passenger on Ibom airplane, in a video filmed by Nigeria Reports. Kayamo, who directed that whoever released that part of the video among the staff be singled out and sanctioned, said it was unacceptable. The minister, in a statement, also directed a joint security meeting between relevant agencies next week for better coordination of security measures in such situations. He stated, apart from the indefinite flight ban imposed on the unruly passenger, both locally and international, by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the police abruptly arraigned her this morning, sharp sharp, at the Ikeja Magistrate Court for Criminal Offences and remanded her at Kirikiri Prison as she could not provide adequate sureties in court. I have attached the charge sheet and remand order for clarity. We also note the scuffle that took place between the unruly passenger and ground personnel before she was eventually subdued. This was because of our cooperative attitude, while we support the female of her recalcitrant behavior as evidence to prosecute her. What is deplorable is to release such evidence containing indecent expression to the public to ridicule her. I absolutely agree with that. That was too much. They shouldn't have, regardless. So this is totally unacceptable to us. We will not put our hands and tolerate the debasing of womanhood. I have therefore directed that whoever released the part of the video containing the indecent expression among the staff should be singled out and adequately sanctioned. I have also directed that the airline must continue to train and retrain their staff in public relations on how to deal with potentially explosive situations in order to defuse them promptly or nip them in the bud. Except where it becomes inevitable, I have also directed a joint security meeting between relevant agencies next week for better coordination of security measures. In situations like this or similar ones we witnessed recently, for genuinely aggrieved passengers, there are clearly laid down remedies to address grievances. The Consumer Protection Directorate of the NCAA has consistently advertised these remedies, and there is no point trying to take the laws into one's hands that may lead to dire consequences. Look, with it, I saw the video, and what was really wrong about it was that look, the lady has no leg to stand on, no doubt, and I'm sure where she is in Kirikiri right now, she's cooling her feet. She's regretting. She's regretting because in the video she basically attacked. She actually attacked. This is her here. You know, for somebody like this, she's a beautiful woman. But she should her beauty should not just be about outward appearance. She should be beautiful on the inside as well. What she did there was totally bang out of order. And I do not support they exposing the video should have been edited and removed whereby um, she wasn't stripped naked, but her chest was exposed, you know, and that is not right. But having said that, she made it quite difficult because it took almost like I think about 6 or 7 people before they could actually took her out of the aircraft. Because I heard no, there were some of the um, air hostess were like she's destroying the plane. You could hear bang. I don't know what she was doing, whether she was using something to hit the inside of the plane or something like that. So quite frankly, I think she's going to be in a lot of trouble. And unfortunately, some of the staff The person that took the video, that just sent the video out like that, shouldn't have. This is an airline. Even in fact, not just about airline. In any circumstances, that should not have been done. I think the person forgot that they work for an airline, and for them to have done that, that was really, really not called for. You see, so even though the lady is clearly at fault, they shouldn't have actually allowed their own emotions. So this is actually showing that there's a gap in their training. There's a level of professionalism on the part of the staff that was clearly missing in regards to releasing the video. What they didn't beat her or anything. They were trying to actually get out of the aircraft. So I think that is where there's a shortcoming in terms of what they were trying to do. So there was a gap in their training there. I think there should be a sort of additional training. This has been identified clearly. I hope they actually see that, and the Minister for Aviation clearly said it as well, that there has to be a level of professionalism being displayed. There's a way you handle passengers and all. In cases like this, if they are not, it shouldn't be the job of the air hostess to do, or the ground staff. They're not trained for stuff like. What they should do is defer to the security services within the airport. Because what they will do, say for instance, now you are on any flight in the UK and there's a problem with maybe a drunken passenger, there will be attempt to sort of, I mean, to be quite honest, I think in some extreme cases, passengers, when they're on the air, there have been cases of passengers that have gotten drunk and were performing stunts. And they know that that was putting the entire lives of everybody on board at risk. Man, they just grab the guy, tie him up with anything they can find, socks, tie, everything. I wish I had a video of one of the ones I saw recently. They tied the guy. I'm telling you that, in fact, the police were clearly very amused the way the guy was tied up. It looks like an Egyptian mummy when the plane landed. So, you know, things like if they're still on the ground, they should actually allow. They should have just called the security, the airport security, because we do have securities at the airport who will then come on board and just, they are trained for it, and they will deal with the situation properly. So except whereby the passenger is now becoming, a real danger to others and to themselves, then you can't wait. They have to act quite properly. So I think they did what they could do, and I don't see any fault in it. Like I said, the video is actually making the rounds. The only sad thing about it is whereby our chest was being exposed, which they should have actually have cropped out. They should have. I think that was just that was a bit malicious. If you work in that sort of area, then you have to be more professional than that. You cannot allow your emotion, the heat of the moment, to determine. Because if you work at the airport, it's a very sensitive job, whether you're a ground crew or you are one of the air hostess. So that needs to be taken on board. Like I said, campaign awareness and to make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. So that's it. And I think that's the last we've got down here. So I just want to say thanks to everybody. And once again, my name is Olatunde, and we'll be back again tomorrow. So I just want to say thank you. Good night and God bless.